Master A boy is lying on the ground and dying. He spent his last seconds with his own sister. But suddenly a huge multicolored beam of lightning struck the boy and began to lift him into the air, and he noticed that the curse was gone, which only meant that he was dead. The guy's countdown to death had begun, and in order for that to not happen he had to complete the steamy cultivation in 60 days. The sister didn't understand what was going on and didn't understand what her brother was doing. And so the paired cultivation is completed and the counting of the bloody rewards has begun. It all started in the mountain of Lindsay village. A boy was diligently digging a grave with the last of his strength. This boy's name was Tianming and he was only 16 years old. Now the boy had finished digging the grave. It was a grave for his father Cheng. And it looks like the boy couldn't beat his fate. Literally, since the creation of their generation, every member of their family has had a black mark on their chest. No one understood where it came from. And for 10 years the bearer of the mark would weaken until the energy and blood ran out and he died in unbearable agony. And there was not one among all of them who could be the exception. Tomorrow the mark that was on the boy's chest will be exactly 10 years old. And instead of finding himself in such a miserable situation, the guy decides to end his life. And pulls out a knife. He's very sorry that his forefathers at least cuddled with their wives and the guy couldn't even touch a single woman. So when the guy pulls out the knife and decides to kill himself, a huge lightning bolt appeared and struck the grave in front of the boy. It was very strong and the boy flew away. The lightning struck his father's grave. The guy thought it was his father doing it, but it didn't turn out that way at all. Suddenly out of the smoke appeared a girl who was wounded. She was also very charged and there were lightning bolts around her. The girl was very frightened and after opening her eyes she immediately ran and hid behind a rock that was near her. Suddenly a guy flew up on his sword who had come for this girl. He told her to be an obedient girl and if not she would die from the explosion. It was her boyfriend she ran away from, but as the girl hid behind a rock he did not see her and thought she had fled and flown away from the place. The girl saw that he flew away and suddenly she could smell a man and she was very happy about it. On the other side of the rock was a guy who did not understand what was happening. The girl saw him and quickly jumped on him with her whole body, telling him not to be afraid. She pressed against the boy with her body, but suddenly she punches him in the face saying that he is a scoundrel. Then she took his hand and put it on top of hers, and then she hit him again with all her might. The boy did not understand what was happening and wanted to kill himself. And then the girl started kissing him. Suddenly everything went black in the boy's eyes, and he woke up next to his father's grave. He opened his eyes and realized it was all just a dream. And the boy was very upset. But when he looked at his chest he did not see his mark there, it had disappeared and there was no trace of it. This was an event the boy was very happy about. It was past time for the boy to die. But he had no side effects and the black lines disappeared. After the lad had a dream about his meeting with his elder sister, the mark disappeared. He did not understand how this could have happened, but he was very happy. Tianming came to the village. It was already very late, but the village was very hot for some reason. When he looked at the village he saw that robbers had come to his village and started to burn and kill everything and everyone. The robbers were on horses and they were killing everyone they saw. The villagers tried to save themselves, but they could not. The boy hid behind a tree. Already the whole village was on fire. The robbers grabbed a girl called Xiao Kui and wanted to do bad things to her. Tianming saw this and wanted to save her. He drew his sword but still could not dare to save her. He wanted to run away, but realized that in this situation running away would not solve the problem. The only thing left was to fight. He didn't know if he should spare his miserable life and wanted to slip away. At this point the robber threw the girl to the floor and began to threaten her. Without thinking, the boy decides to attack him. He ran with a knife and wanted to attack him from behind, but the outlaw heard his sounds and turned around, after which he fought off the guy's blow. And Tianming flew away. He told the girl not to stand and run away quickly, but she started shouting for the guy to turn around. The guy didn't even have time to turn around and started to feel the blow. The guy was completely pierced by the sword. Then he fell down. The girl did not have time to run away and was grabbed and started throwing her to the floor. They said they were going to play with him a lot harder today because of this guy. The girl screamed to be rescued, but the boy couldn't do anything and his eyes closed. When he opened them he saw that he appeared at the entrance where there were large doors. He did not understand where he was and why he was here when he died. He quickly started running towards the door to do something. He opened the door, then saw the dragon there who was all in chains. He was saying what he was Jiaozi. The elder is a black dragon, and the dragon was saying that he would not kill the boy. The dragon picked up the boy with his teeth and said that the boy was extremely lucky, and he has an opportunity that only one person in the whole world can have, and only once in 100 years. He was sucked in and the boy began to be filled with incredible strength and energy that began to consume his entire body. The boys were about to do bad things to the girl. But then an incredibly beautiful ray appeared behind them and landed on the ground. Suddenly a guy appeared who was very fast. He flew up to the bully and grabbed him by the head. After that, the guy was left without his head. When the boy returned he was already black-marked. The other brigands wanted to attack him and thought that the blow he had just made was just an accident. But the hundreds of robbers who wanted to attack him could do absolutely nothing. They did not understand how an ordinary child could be so strong. He took out the whole gang all by himself. The last bully who was left grabbed the girl, then pointed his sword at her and said that he admits defeat, but if you want to save her, you have to let me go. And if you don't, then I'm with the girl. But before the boy could even finish speaking, this child flew beside him and ripped his arm off with a knife in it. Then he lifted him up with one hand over his face and tore him into many pieces. But the boy suddenly began to close his eyes and the very dragon appeared before him. He asked the dragon what chance he had and what he meant by that. The dragon answered what he needed the boy to answer one question. Do you want a son? But the boy pretended not to hear. The dragon decided to ask again, but the guy shouted that he would not answer such a question. The dragon laughed and said he was a hypocritical boy who had already done and was now holding back. The boy didn't understand what nonsense he was talking about. Suddenly the boy started to rise. The dragon said that they had very little time, so he told the guy to remember everything he was going to say. He touched the guy's head, thus starting to create a light barrier. The black tattoo you have on your chest is a curse that a powerful cultivator put on several generations of your family. But since you were able to wake me, it means you found the key to breaking the curse. Instead of with a cultivator of the opposite sex, you can absorb the power. Even though the guy's black lines are gone now, they will soon reappear. The dragon said he'd give him all the power he had. And if you don't want to die, use that power, and join the ranks of the cultivators as soon as possible, and then keep getting stronger and making new women. All this will be until you reach the pinnacle of the immortal realm. The boy wanted the dragon to tell him more, but the dragon had disappeared. The boy woke up in his bed. He was in total shock and didn't understand what was happening. There was a letter next to the boy that was meant for him. He recognized Xiao Kui's handwriting. It said that when he read the letter, all the people in the village, including me, would be gone. After you killed the horse thieves, you fell into a coma. The girl couldn't wake the boy, so she left him in this room. Many people in the village survived because of you. But because of those robbers and the fear that they might take revenge, everyone decided to leave this village. And I couldn't convince them to take you with them. I hope you're doing well. The boy went outside and saw a huge number of dead bodies. He was surprised and did not understand how he could kill them all. As he looked at them, a sign started to appear saying that it was a dead body. The guy got scared of these signs, and when he clicked on it, a sign appeared in front of him saying his name, level, technique and ability. He didn't understand what this dragon had done to him. They also saw that if he didn't complete the paired cultivation within 60 days he would die. A new message appeared in front of the boy saying that his first mission was to defeat the bloody wolf, as the large number of corpses had attracted the bloody wolf. And the boy's appearance disturbed his sleep. A wolf appeared in front of the guy on the mountain and started growling. Then the wolf with its huge nails started to jump on the boy, but the boy reacted in time and the wolf did not hit him. This wolf was very hungry and he was looking as he was a cannibal. He wanted to eat this guy. He was much bigger than the guy and he didn't understand how he could kill him. He started to run away from him, but he received a message that the wolf was in an unstable state and his speed had decreased, leaving him 1 minute to complete the task. The boy had to act now. The boy was running away from him with the last of his strength. He would surely die if he kept this up. 10 seconds left on the mission. The guy turns around, pulls out his sword, pushes off the tree and flies at the wolf and jumps on it, poking it in the eye. The wolf starts running with the guy on his shoulders. And they run into the cliff. The wolf jumps off the cliff and dies. But the boy survived. He thought he was going to die, but because he landed on the wolf he survived. Suddenly the guy's hand starts to go into the wolf and he pulls out a red orb. he is alerted that it was a rare demonic pill. After he took it in his hands, a huge red spider appeared in front of him, on top of which was a girl with a gun. The balloon that he picked up started flying up and flew into the girl's hands. She said her name was Lin Men, and she is the 8th master of the Qingyun sect in the medicine department. And for her experiments, she needed this pill. She told the guy that she could give him the pill, and then she'd let him join their group. The guy didn't understand how she could say that. The boy said what he got her with great difficulty and told her to give it back. The girl picked up her stick and launched a light beam into the ground, and it shattered into pieces, after which the girl told the boy to do it again. The guy tried to see with his powers who she was, but no information about her was displayed as she was more than 2 notches above him. After the boy saw her powers, he said he wanted to offer her the pill, but she beat her to it, after which the 2 of them boarded the spider and set off. The boy was very surprised when he saw that she had level 8 in the medical department, and after pairing perfection with her he would be able to gain a lot of spiritual power. As they drove along, the guy thought about coming up with a further plan of action, but if he tried to attack her she would wipe him out. The girl was telling the guy that he had a lot of potential in him, and could easily pass the first level of CHI training without any special skills. In exchange for the pill he would receive a lot of money and the opportunity to join the Qingyu clan. The boy asked her about what she had told her about becoming a Qingyu apprentice, and asked when it would happen. But the girl began to say that she had not said such a thing, because his level was not high enough to be an apprentice. The guy didn't understand what the joke was, and he told her to let him go. He tried to escape from the spider, but it was a failed attempt and it was too late to escape. The boy had a new assignment. He was to join the Qingyu clan. They arrived at the very same clan, and the guards who were at the entrance said what the deputy said, to tell her that the thing you were looking for could be found. So she had to go to the Lingbao Hall as soon as possible, and they were already waiting for her there. The item she had wanted for so long was the remnants of a young heathen, and as she had to go to see what was brought to her, she said she had things to do and threw the guy off the spider and left. He was angry that she had thrown his face against the stone floor. The guards gave him a hand and asked if he was the same apprentice Lin had caught. They greeted him and invited him into the clan. Turns out there were some good people there too. They showed him where the medical department was and told him to go there. They stayed behind to guard the gate. They didn't understand how someone so young could go to the medical department. This child must have been tricked by Miss Lin. The boy was walking down the street and saw somebody in the bushes and decided to approach as he thought it was someone from the medical department. When he approached, he saw a girl sitting there going to the bathroom. The boy said hello and said he was new. The girl got very angry and started running at the boy. The guy started running away and said it was a mistake. He was alerted that he was in extreme danger. The girl was shooting needles into him with anesthetic, and if they hit him they would completely paralyze his whole body. And the needle hit him. The girl grabbed him and didn't even want to hear him say that it was a misunderstanding. But just as she wanted to hit him, there was an explosion in the medical department, and they started calling her to help. She dragged the guy with her on the ground. When she arrived, she was told to report to the manager that a 3rd furnace had exploded and something had to be done about it. They saw a guy on the floor and asked who it was. Could it be the same dark shadow that had been haunting them for months? But the girl said it was just a nasty pervert, and suggested to the sisters that they beat him to death. And that would be a lesson to him. But they didn't want to because it would be too easy, and they wanted to throw him straight into the alchemical furnace. They wondered what they should do. The guy was quick to say that it was a misunderstanding. He had spoken to the woman who had brought him here in person. They didn't believe him. They said he was desperate to cover for her. There haven't been men in the medical department for over 200 years, so don't lie, said the girl. And because the boy was so eager to die, they decided to take him to the forbidden room and let the mistress deal with him personally when she returned. 30 days to go before he dies. Everyone told him that if he wanted to do something to them, they would turn him into a pile of rubbish without blinking an eye. 20 days to death. Nobody wanted to sleep with him. One day, he begged them to do a steamy cultivation, but no one agreed. 0 days. The boy is consumed by darkness and dies. The guy woke up in a cold sweat and realized it was all just a dream and decided to check his statistics. There he saw that there were 59 days left and was relieved. He received a reminder that he was advised to find someone with a similar base and perform a paired cultivation. Since the guy had completed the last rookie task, he should have been rewarded. He opened his inventory and saw spiritual guidance from the Black Dragon, a book on perfecting Kai. When he pressed it, he saw that a real book had appeared in front of him. It was amazing. Anyway, the dragon had used the system to increase his powers, so he had no choice but to trust it completely. The Black Dragon's spiritual instructions, a book on perfecting Kai, your time has come. He opened and looked what he was at level 1 and he is a failure. The boy got angry and threw the book. The boy was very scared and troublesome. There were only 59 days until the curse was triggered, and he had no idea at all how to improve his power. Besides, he didn't know how long he would have to stay locked up here. Tianming saw a cupboard with a lot of books next to it. He was told that after reading the books he would learn basic medical skills. Tianming had no idea that such a scary and forbidden room could contain such data. It was a pity that even if the boy improved his skills it would be completely useless. But he remembered that his sister, who appeared to be quite strong, must have taken some kind of pill to become so. So he decided to improve his skills in medicine, because if there was a similar remedy he could get, it could help him a lot. The guy said it was all just for self-protection and it wouldn't do any harm if he looked at it. As soon as the boy opened the book, he received a message saying that he was congratulated on finding the right solution for improvement. It would help make the path of cultivation more effective. In order to help him, the system automatically activated a system that was able to read all the information itself. He was asked to sit down, cross his legs and prepare himself. Suddenly his skill level began to improve and Tianming gained a new primary chemistry skill. The trial began. The Chief Lord came to start the trial in which the boy was. The other girls immediately started hugging and greeting her. They told her that they could not even imagine how important the task was before them this time. The sisters were working overtime and doing alchemy all day long. But 3 of the furnaces were blown up. The girl also remembered and added that last month she had caught a pervert and a thief and she had to deal with him. They opened the door and in front of the door Tianming fell down and started crying and talking about how he was very hungry, and that he had not seen Miss for a long time. She gave him a pill which she told him to drink and after that they would talk. The queen said that she was sorry about what had happened and said that he would now go to the Taoist temple. The girl who brought her here said it was not possible and she was outraged. She said there were only girls in the temple and he would be the only man, which could cause inconvenience. And she added that the medical garden was just short of men. The master didn't know what to do, but Tianming said that the overseer had his own point of view and was willing to obey her and go to the garden. The master smiled and told him to go and work hard. While the lad was in the garden he received an alert and there he received a new task. It was discovered that the host was relying on his own strength to do the paired cultivation, and the use of extraneous objects could lead to unexpected results. And the lad had to acquire acacia powder as soon as possible, thanks to which he would get meat. The lad thought it was a mistake and why he needed meat. When her sister brought Tianming to the garden, she said that there was not much to do here. Occasionally alchemy students would come here to study, or just to keep an eye on the garden. There was a lot of grass near the boy. It was a sanching herb which is cold in nature, usually used to purify herbs with low water content. Its identification was also useful for medicinal plants. The boy did not understand what was the basic skill that encouraged the system. He looked at the herbs and saw that all were of normal quality. But suddenly he saw the grass behind him which was of higher quality and he jumped the fence to pluck the true treasure. But his sister grabbed him and told him that he should at least listen to people once in a while. And dragged him along with her. She showed him where he would live and work. He would also have restrictions. If he dared to go outside the room and near the temple it would be bad. The girl left. The boy came into his house, looked around and saw the clothes. There was nothing better than new clothes. He put them on and liked it. Everything that was happening to him was really like a dream, coming here from a small Lindsay village. The boy could not believe what was happening to him. But the only thing to worry about now was the hereditary curse that had 49 days to go. Under normal circumstances it takes practice to improve, but the skills provided by the system can only be used at the second level of CHI. In that case, the guy had only one option left. And that was alchemy. The guy was 34 days away from death. All these days the boy had been making a tunnel in his room. And this was his last chance. If it didn't work this time, he could kiss his life goodbye at once. He climbed in. He didn't know if there were any dead ends, but it was worth the risk. He heard a voice, and thought he had made the right choice. When he picked up the tiles and looked where he had come, he saw some girls playing. They noticed that someone was looking at them, but when they approached, the boy was able to hide from them, and they thought they were imagining things. The guy kept going. The next time he climbed out, he saw a big red carpet, in the middle of which stood a big jug. It looked like this was the place. He opened his inventory as he had a lot of herbs there. Over the past few days, the boy had searched the whole garden for the best magical herbs. Today, with his current abilities and level of technique, he could improve himself. He looked at the recipe, and started doing it right. According to the system, the best medicinal plants can increase the probability of success by 50%. If the assumptions are correct, the success of each plant can add up, which means it's possible to create a 100% probability. He had a total of 10 types of medicinal material, all of the best quality. He calculated that this would equate to a 50-fold increase in the probability of success and effectiveness. So the guy started making the Daozan tablet. The likelihood of successful preparation is extremely low, and the process is also quite tedious. He had to be very careful to make it successful. All his herbs he abandoned to this vessel. It really wasn't human work. He had never tired so much, not even when he was fighting wolves at Adinadin. The lad acted strictly according to the instructions. He hoped the system would not fail him. And then a few hours later, the guy got acacia powder, thanks to which his strength was increased tenfold. The efficacy of this stuff is too high. The guy was afraid it was already risky. So the guy decided that as long as his life was safe, it was better not to use it. And right now the guy decides to try this legendary pill. The guy took the very same pill. He started getting a lot of notifications that he had leveled up. At the moment he was level 6. But his strength diminished and he went back to level 2. The power that was overwhelming him was very amazing. He realized that if he used the system properly, he could increase his strength to unimaginable levels. He had hoped that he could survive. He had to break the curses and become the strongest cultivator. That was his goal. The boy reached the 8th level of Qi, and unlocked the skill of divine creation. He was able to unleash his spiritual power and explore everything within 50 meters. Winter couldn't stop himself from trying this power. So he started releasing the divine creature. This enabled the boy to ignore obstacles and explore his surroundings. And while the boy was not looking around, he saw that there was someone nearby. There was a guy and a girl. The guy asked the girl how their plan was going. She said it was going well. Nothing can go wrong with the plan. In the temple just yesterday 4 furnaces blew up. Afterwards, the guy pinned her down and told her that she was good and wanted to reward her. However, this is pretty weird. The likelihood of success of the chemistry process was reduced by 50%. The girl doubted that the landlady wouldn't notice it. But the boy responded by telling her to keep her nose out of other people's business. 6 months had passed since the foundation ceremony. If she had noticed, she still wouldn't have been able to prepare enough pills. When the time came, not even the deputy clan would be able to help her and protect her. They wanted to overthrow their mistress. But suddenly a divine creature appeared. It was Zhu in Han Wheelbarrow. She saw that the girl had dared to team up with the strangers to kill their mistress. She was very frightened and told the boy that she must not be allowed to leave, because if she told everything, it would be very bad. The boy began to attack the girl. She thought she could easily handle him without a wizard. But compared to the guy's level, she could not withstand his strength, and he won the fight with her. He said that he had been watching them every day for all this time. And since she had come here herself, he would no longer be polite and would kill her. The boy watched and did not understand why the temple was so noisy in the middle of the night. And what those cultivators were up to. He did not know what to do. The girl seemed to be in a very bad position, but he could not go in and save her now. After they leave, he decides to break the news to the landlady straight away. After which the boy saw that they were beginning to approach him. The boy immediately ran away and hid behind that very vessel. They went into that room and realized it was a good place. Once they were finished, they would simply throw her body into the oven to destroy the corpse. The boy didn't understand why he was in this situation again. They threw the girl on the floor and the other girl said that she is congratulating him. She has the body of a water spirit. She is the 3rd student of the Yunzone class and the chosen girl of the head. The girl went out and left them alone. The guy heard what the scent he was hearing could speed up a man's blood flow, but didn't expect his heart to pause in everything for a while. Suddenly the guy thought something was wrong. and a guy appeared from behind the vessel, with a bound girl at his side. He said hello to the guy, and said it was the first time they'd ever met, and gave him an elixir as an homage. He knew at a glance. And this guy is really strong. Who sent you here? Asked the guy. He said that the guy better not interfere with him since he is an apprentice of Master Tang Hu. But the guy said that you are not trained enough to know. The boy had no time to finish his thought, when suddenly the girl burst out sharply and ordered her brother not to give him an opportunity to wrap his head around her. Not only did she give the boy's name, but she also informed him that he was only level 1 and had recently returned to the clan. This made the guy furious that he had tried so hard and built himself up as a great master, and the girl with her words had ruined everything. The guy realized that his efforts had been in vain and that his reputation had been undermined because of the girl's words. Afterwards, the guy got angry and asked him how dare he joke with him in the first place. He had no idea how the guy knew his name and level. But he wanted to tear him apart from head to toe. He tried with all his might to hit the guy, but he ducked. The guy who attacked him was very strong. But it wasn't enough to kill the guy. And now it was his turn. When they tried to kick him, he blocked the blow and then hit the guy with all his might, so that he flew away. Then the guy realized he wasn't level 1. He managed to kill someone who is 2 ranks above him. It seems the power of the system is far beyond comprehension. The guy's mission was 50% complete because he didn't clear all the objects that want to knock you out. The system seems to mean eliminating her as well. She was very frightened, and began to say that she was forced to serve this guy. It wasn't her fault, and from now on she would only be loyal to him. She said that she had faithfully served her teachers and brothers before this incident, and at the time of the hit the guy came to his senses. He took the location powder out of his pocket and tossed it to the girl, saying that she could still kill you. And it would happen when he least expected it. After she drank, she ran up to the guy and started saying things that he was very generous with. The girl hugged him and her backside was ours. She pointed at his back and tried to hit him, but the guy foresaw it and repulsed her attack. He knew she wouldn't calm down. The boy had given her a chance, but now even if he did nothing personally, she was still doomed to die. The girl didn't know what she meant. Do you really think that this acacia powder of the highest quality will have no effect on her body? The boy asked. If the elixir is not neutralized in time, you will die of lust. Then the girl started to die. She begged for the boy to save her, but he left. The guy successfully completed the mission. It was indeed a difficult mission and he decided to see his reward. It said the reward was received. I'm the location, right next to you. It looked like it was the same girl. Even though the boy was angry with her, it was too much. But the system was forcing the guy's hand. At this time in the Qingyun sect. Cloud Sword Pavilion. The chief deputy master was making love to a girl. And suddenly he began to feel some special effect. The kind of effect of just having someone invade the qi. Then the master of the pavilion comes to him and says that something has happened in the medical pavilion. The jade soul of the younger Yun's brother has just cracked. It was the spotter who feared that the Lin action might ruin the master's plan. So please forgive my rudeness, he said. The deputy didn't understand how it was possible. He said it was impossible. Lin men would definitely let him live to use it against me. But judging from all the other disciples in the medical pavilion, their strength isn't enough to take out Feng's little brother. It seems that some other forces have infiltrated the medical pavilion, but it's too late for me to stop my plan from being carried out. He took a secret tablet and told him to make an appointment with the pavilion master. The master wanted to know who could have done it, but at this time the girl was very exhausted as he had to give her a pill. But he just pushed her away. At this time the boy was meditating in the medicinal garden. He was given the method of cultivating the primordial dragon of chaos. His cultivation was accomplished. The lad unlocked the dragon transformation art ability. When he attacked, he could use a small amount of black dragon power. Muscles and bones were strengthened. Defensive powers were increased by 25%. New abilities would become available when a certain level was reached. But suddenly the guy got a notification that he hadn't done the paired cultivations, and the countdown to death began. 7 days and 8 hours to go. Half a month ago, the boy approached the girl and realized it was his only hope of surviving. But he could not dare to do such a thing. The girl seemed to be seriously injured and the boy decided to give her a special restorative potion to try. After him the girl started to wake up. The boy, when he saw this, quickly ran into his tunnel. Suddenly someone starts knocking very loudly on the guy's door and telling him to open it as something terrible is about to happen.